Hello, my name is Ryan Boehm, and just for a brief introduction for this class, I am a recent graduate of Quinnipiac University since last May. I graduated my undergraduate studies with a degree in communications, specifically a concentration in media studies and a minor in marketing. And I've been in the ICM interactive media program since the beginning of the summer. I've taken 4 courses so far, and I've really enjoyed the curriculum for the interactive media program, and I'm very excited to be taking this class as I hope to be measuring audiences in the future within the media industry for jobs. And I feel I'm going to take away and learn a lot from this class, as I'm going to learn to develop different methods and research skills in order to collect data and also be able to come up with different ways to analyze data sets to be able to form better conclusions faster and more precise as well. And so this video assignment asked me to come up with 2 things in life that I measure, so one quantitative and one qualitative. And I feel that the best way, I thought a good topic for me to talk about is fantasy football, as it's a big passion of mine. I play fantasy football all year round, all different sports, and it actually involves both quantitative and qualitative data sets. So I'm going to give you some examples of why it has both and how I use both to my advantage. So for qualitative data, I use fantasy football players' information for that. So for example, I look at before drafting a player, I look at their legal history. I look to see where they are in their depth charts to see if they're starting or not, and I also look at their injury history to see if they're injury prone or not. And the reason being is because I want my players to be able to play every week, specifically for football in this case. And if they have any injury history, that always is a concern to me, because they'll become injury prone, as I said before, and they might not play every week. And that'll hurt your fantasy lineup, and you won't be able to score points if they're not playing. Also, looking at the injury history, they might be suspended from the league, so they might not play. And if that becomes a reoccurring instance, then I don't want them playing for my team, because then they'll just cost me points. And then also I look at the depth chart to see if they're actually going to play or not for the team, because if they're not playing, then there's no point of them having on my team, because then I won't make any points. Now for the qualitative data, before drafting a player, I always look at their statistics, as statistics is the most important thing for fantasy. So the way fantasy football works is you gain points every week by a player's individual performance in the game based off their statistics. So you get points for each player's touchdown, completed pass, if they catch a pass, if they rush the ball, etc. So you get all these different point scorings, and it depends on the league how the points vary. And the way I look at it is I look at the stats of each player from the previous year, and I look at their projected stats before drafting them, and then I make a decision based off if I feel that they're going to keep up with the same statistics or not. And I look at different years too to see if they are on the rise or on the decline, because that's a big fantasy impact for me. Because if they're on the decline and they keep declining as a player, then that's not good for your team, as you won't be able to score as much points. So you want the best player available, and basically by doing all this data research and looking at all the different statistics, you'll be able to come up with the best solution for me to have the best lineup and for me to have the best team. And as I already described how I use the measurements for fantasy football, and I compare the results to previous years, specifically with the qualitative data and all the statistics, as I said. And unlike other research projects, like you usually like to share data with everyone to make sure you made the right decision, and like you like to show other people what you did right and stuff. But since this is a competitive league, I like to share and keep my information to myself, so I don't give other people or opponents in my league a competitive advantage against me. So I'm very strict about that. I like to keep my information to myself. And the reason why I measure and compare my data to myself is because I want to make sure I have the best team in the league, and I do research very weeks prior to drafting to make sure I have the best projected starters and make sure I have the best team to become the winner in the league. And I feel that this was just a great example of how quantitative and qualitative data really helps me in order to become successful in fantasy football as well as different fantasy sports as well.